I welcome you all to our latest podcast, Let's Talk Shop, where we talk about industry leaders and experts and know about their experiences. I am Simran, and today we have Alian Phoning, who is author, creative director, journalist, fashion designer, and a textile designer. So, without any further ado, let's start our podcast. Hi, ma'am. Glad to see you.
Hello, nice to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, so my first question to you is, as I have been through your Instagram handle, I've seen a lot of tribal inspiration content and various nature inspired illustrations and exhibitions. So I would like to know what was the take on that?
So for me, I've worked in the industry and done all kinds of work at different points in my life. But after a point when I kind of felt really far away and disconnected from my own hometown, from my ancestors, from nature, somehow that kind of got me started on doing research and finding out more about where my roots are from, where I'm from, and what my ancestors used to do, how did they live. So that began kind of my search for nature and kind of through the tribe, and that's why you would see a lot of that, because I've been meeting elders and shamans of the tribe and collecting these stories and kind of using that in a way for my own personal life, whether it's professionally or through art or design or spiritually. So nature kind of is more stronger in its presence now in my life because of this search and this paths that I'm on. But it was always something that inspired me a lot in all the work that I did, whether it was motifs, whether it was like I do a lot of fabric construction and sculpting with fabric. So, the inspirations of looking at the bark of a tree, or petals or butterflies and insects and foliage. So I've always been connected to nature and it's been there. But I think now it's come to a place where the connection and the understanding is deeper from my side, and I look deeper, even deeper than this, to kind of work with nature and understand how we're part of nature.
Great. So I have seen you have worked with various small businesses which are sustainable. So how would you like to train us as a student who want to work with them?
So I feel it's important to understand why we design sustainably. And I think, to me, the core or the important thing is to understand that we're doing this so that we live gently on this earth, because we've already created so much destruction and so much destruction, that's the word, to the earth, and we've forgotten how to live in harmony. So designing sustainably or thinking and being and acting in that kind of way, to me, is so that we can honor Mother Earth, and at the end of the day reduce the destruction that we have been as humans, the destruction we've caused. So what I would begin by saying to students or younger people is understand why we're doing what we're doing and why it should be sustainable. And I feel that as a concept it's an interesting thing, but truly understanding it deeply by connecting to nature, because if, like, through the tribe, like I was talking, it's like we are nature, we're born of nature, and when we die we go back into nature. So it's like she's our mother, and if we know and believe that she's our mother and that she gives us the air that we breathe and the food that we eat and nourishes us, then we wouldn't want to harm her. So I would look at it from that perspective, and that's the thing I would like to share with the students. And simple things like, if you don't go to the river and understand where water comes from or how we're connected to water, how will you help water? How will you protect water? So I think when I teach, it comes from that kind of a perspective where it is already addressing the core connection that we have to her and why we need to design sustainably or be conscious of how we live gently and in harmony with the earth. So I would kind of share that. More than teaching design, I think I would go back to the core, where then you feel deeply, and then you do what you do with conviction and with love and with respect. So that's what I feel about sustainable design.
I really like your inspiration and your thinking about sustainability. And as you are a fashion and textile designer, as well as an enthusiast, You are always surrounded with art and design. So where does that inspiration comes from?
I would say I've always been inclined, and I got trained in design and I studied design, but art has always been a mode for me to express myself, and I've always had a very strong, I would say, like an instinct inside of how I would like to express myself. And over years of working in the industry, over years of developing, learning techniques and trying out different kind of things, so I do have quite a strong visual language that has kind of developed over time. So I would just say it's an extension. I don't find any of these art, design, even research for that matter, any different, because there is design thinking and design processes and questioning and all of that in the research bit of it. So to me, it all kind of overlaps, and they're just extensions of each other, and I think they help each other, I don't know, just magnify the impact of what one is trying to speak or share or understand. So to me, they're not very different. To me, they're just different tools and different ways of expressing myself.
Great. So as we were talking about sustainability, what's your take on building your own brand, which provides customization and which is sustainable?
So I do have a brand, though it's a small one, but it's more than a monetary business thing. It's more like an expression, and it's also to work with local women, and it's more like a craft. It's like I'm an artisan, and it's I'm an artist, and I like to express it in those ways. Honestly speaking, like a larger brand is something I've never wanted to do. And I think maybe if I do something, then it will be very like one-off, very limited edition kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, I feel my priorities lie now, since I'm on this kind of a journey and this kind of a path, in kind of reconnecting to my roots, to kind of collect the stories, because a lot of our elders are passing away soon. So there is so much wisdom and knowledge, especially about living with the earth and the different rituals, customs, and things like that. So somehow for me, at this point, through the art, through the design, through the storytelling, through the textile art bit of it specifically, and writing also, somehow that's opened up for me. That is a priority for me, to be able to share these stories and the essence of the old in a new kind of way, so that the younger ones who don't remember all of this could at least be exposed to it, whether it touches them or not, whether it inspires them or not. I mean, it's not something I think about, but I'd like to be able to share this so that we kind of remember the old ways again, but in a new contemporary kind of way.
Okay. So as we were talking about sustainability, so what are the things we should keep in mind as a student if we want to work with sustainable brands and make a mark in the industry?
One thing, whether sustainability or not, I have come to realize, getting older each day, that there is a voice that each of us have, and each of us are we're so special and so unique, that like finding one's voice is important, and sharing that voice, no matter how it is and however you are or whoever is, that's very important. And the other thing I feel about sustainability is because sustainability is a word that's used so much without it being deeply from the heart and from the soul kind of a thing. So I feel for the students, if they really want to design sustainably, then they should try and understand what that really means, and how they could kind of use that in their own personal lives, for example. And I'm not saying that you can change the world, and it then becomes a part of who one is, whether one is choosing to throw trash somewhere, if someone is willing to consume packaged stuff, rather than organic homegrown food. And it's difficult, you can't make the shift, but I think sustainability is something that at the end of the day should be a more wholesome way of being than just design and fashion and brands. It is a marketing thing that so many people use, but how many people believe it deeply from their heart? So my encouragement to students would be that definitely it's a really good direction to head in, but understand it deeply and kind of commit to it deeply as much as you can without pressurizing like yourself, kind of a thing. So I think that's what I feel about this.
Yeah, as there's a crazy race going on in fashion industry, the sustainability word as in general gets on hidden, and people often misuse it to establish their brands. And so how would you like to say about that?
Oh, what I feel about this is you cannot take responsibility for someone else's actions and their choices, and you can't judge. I feel we should not judge them for that. At the end of the day, it's up to you, or it's up to me, how we want to live our lives and how we want to move forward in this life, you know. So it's not up to us to judge anybody, but it's the choices that we make and the things that we do that would make a difference. Whether it's just a person, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think listening to you and your stories, it just reminds me of a great saying that we should always know our roots, and that's what keeps us alive and going in our life. And I am really inspired by your story and your artworks. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This was indeed a soulful conversation. To watch the entire episodes, go on Chitkara University's YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. For more school information and events, do follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn. Till then, it's me Simran signing off.